Hey there guys, welcome to the next tutorial here on the channel. I've been wanting to make this creation for a little while now. I've been tinkering with it for the past couple weeks, but we're actually going to be making a duct tape tool belt in this video. It's going to be something that you kind of wear around your waist. It's going to have a whole bunch of different spots for you to put different things like your scissors, your hobby knife, a roll of tape, and I'll give you some ideas on other things you can attach to it as well. So let's get started here on the tutorial. Alright, so the first thing of course we're going to do is make the belt that's going to go around your waist. And if you're going to be using this with trousers or pants that have belt loops on it, you want to make sure that the duct tape isn't too thick for the belt loops, because the duct tape is about 1.88 inches high or wide. So if it's too large, you won't be able to fit through your belt loop. So you want to make sure if that's the case, you can trim it down just a little bit after you make the entire thing. So you're going to take about I'd say 8 or 9 strips of tape about a foot long. You're going to stick them together just like that. You're going to keep going all the way down the line here until you have a long enough strip that you can use as a belt. And of course, like I said, test it, make sure it goes through your belt loops if that's what you're doing, and then we'll move on to our next step, of course, of applying things to it and really setting everything up on top of it. So here we go. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is make sure that the belt is attached and secure around my waist. So I'm going to use just a little bit of Velcro for that. It really doesn't need to have a belt buckle or anything like that, anything fancy, because as long as you use a fairly big strip of Velcro, I used kind of like about 1.5 inch strip on the top here instead of a really tiny piece, it should be able to hold the weight of whatever you're going to put on it, but that really depends on how much you're putting on the belt. It should be able to hold whatever I have, whatever I'm going to show you in this tutorial at least. So use a little bit of a larger strip of Velcro if you're worried about that, but once you stick it on, make sure it's good and stuck on. You can test it out, and now we'll start adding a few things to it. So the first thing I'm going to do for the tool belt is actually make a holder for the hobby knife here, and you can make it a little bit larger if you want to fit multiple hobby knives in there, but I'm just going to be making it just as big for just the one hobby knife. So what I did was I took my hobby knife and just measured it with the tape here. Of course I need to take into consideration the cap on it, and it's about, I don't know, about 7 or 8 inches. So I took 2 of those strips. I'm going to stick those directly on top of each other just like this, and try not to make sure they don't get stuck together. It's really humid tonight, so the tape is curling a little bit. That's what happens a lot during the summer. Stick those 2 together, just like that. And then I'm going to take 2 smaller pieces. These are about a little over half the length of these 2 here. And then I'm going to stick those directly on top of each other. And then this is going to be kind of like almost like a pen holder for this here. I'm going to stick that there, and I'm going to attach this on the sides and the bottom, and that's going to be kind of like a cool holder for it. This is going to be attached to the top of the belt. So now I'm just going to seal it up on the sides and the bottom. So here we have that simple process of pretty much creating a pocket here. Just really rudimentary duct taping here. I'm going to stick that on half on one side, half on the other, flip it over, peel it back, stick it around. That seals up the one side. Take the other half of the piece, and then of course that'll go on this side here. Flip that all around to the back. Of course I need to seal up the bottom. It's not going to be much of a pocket if I don't seal up the bottom. It's kind of the way it works. That's going to go like that. So now we have a cool little pocket for the hobby knife. Fits perfectly in there. I'm going to take my belt, and assuming that the Velcro is going to be kind of where the belt buckle would be, I'm going to put this a little bit to the right side there. So just like I said, really rudimentary duct taping here. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but we're going to just take a larger piece, and I'm going to stick that directly on top just like this. And I'm going to take a few tries to make sure that it's lined up, but that'll stick that directly on top. The hobby knife isn't really that heavy, so there's no chance of that getting pulled off the belt there. So there we have a nice little pocket for the hobby knife. So now I'm going to attach the scissors to the belt. I'm going to do that on the left side. I'm going to use kind of a small strip to kind of weave in between the handle holes here, and then I'm going to just attach that to the belt with a little bit of Velcro. So this is one of my favorite methods of just using a strap to attach things. I usually cut out a little square on the one side, then I take my entire strip, I fold the rest of it on top of itself just like this. I'm going to use this, of course, to attach it to the belt, and then the Velcro will go actually right there. So, if we have my belt, I'm going to put this on the left side, like I said, so it's going to be on my left side if I'm wearing it. Let's say it's right about there. I'm going to attach it to the belt with the sticky part. Then I'm going to, let's see, we'll go like this, kind of weave it back and forth. Be kind of a cool way of doing it. Then I'm going to take my little piece of Velcro, which shouldn't give me too much trouble. I'm going to peel off the backing. And once again, it doesn't really need too much Velcro because the scissors aren't quite that heavy. Velcro actually sticks really well to duct tape. A lot of people think it doesn't actually work too well because it'll just peel right off, but it's really sticky. It really kind of bonds to the duct tape really well. So there we have that. And there, of course, is a way of attaching the scissors to the belt. So the last thing I'm going to show you is actually probably the most obvious, is how to attach a roll to the belt, which is probably the coolest thing you're probably going to attach to it. So I'm going to take the same method, just take a strip of tape, cut out that square from either end, fold the rest of it back on itself, and this one's going to go wrap through the middle of the duct tape roll, and then it's just going to stick on, use a little bit of Velcro once again. So I'm going to take my belt once again. Here's the center, so I'll put this right next to the hobby knife. Probably going to need to measure a little bit here, but I'm going to take this, and hopefully this should work. Or actually, you know what? I should be trying to decide whether to put it this way with the Velcro on the top or on the bottom. I guess this will work. So I'm going to put this all the way around to the back, and then I'm going to... I guess it'd be really cool to put the Velcro on the inside. That would really prevent it from falling out. Okay, so I'm going to put the Velcro on the inside on the back of the belt. Alright, so there we have the roll of duct tape going all the way around and attaching to the back. And that's pretty much going to wrap up all the things I'm going to put into this specific tool belt. I think it looks pretty cool. Alright, so that's pretty much as far as I'm going to go with this particular tutorial, but as with all my tutorials, there's really 1,000 different ways that you can make something. Of course, I decided to make this all with the gray tape. It's just, the largest roll I had on my station to work with at the moment, but you can make this any color you want. Of course, you can decorate it any way you want. There's a whole bunch of other things you could throw into this tool belt because you have plenty of space to work with. You could throw a couple pens in there, a couple pencils, a ruler you could attach to it. Pretty much everything you work with duct tape you could throw into the tool belt here. As far as using it, if you're kind of working with your duct tape at your workstation like I am now, I really probably don't need to be wearing a tool belt because I can have the hobby knife, the scissors, all the rolls of tape in front of me. But if you're working on projects where you have to work around the project, like when I was making a duct tape hammock about a couple summers ago, this tool belt would have really come in handy instead of having to bend down and get the duct tape with the scissors each time. It would have been helpful to have that all on my belt. And if you're working on projects like making a dress or a suit, and there's something that you have to take away from your workstation and really work around, a tool belt can really come in handy for that. So hope you guys liked the tutorial. There'll be a few more videos coming this week, so watch out for those, and I'll catch you next time on the channel. Take care.